Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Ask a Medium radio show. I am your host, Rev.Ivy Rivera, psychic medium, coming to you from the Ivy League Psychic Academy at 4511 Main Street in Amherst, New York, which is in the Buffalo area, where we are raising up the next generation of light workers. I am here with my beautiful co-host, Theresa Matuszak. How are you, Tree?
I'm wonderful. How are you this evening?
I'm good. We have a lot of high energy going on. We have a fun show tonight, so I'm looking forward to this. Yeah, I'm usually pretty annoyed with the love topic because every question or every other question we get is on love.
Love, relationships, yeah.
Yeah, so as psychic mediums, we tend to be like, all right, that'll do. Okay, let's have something new. But this show is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be talking about past life connections, soulmate connections, karmic bonds, karmic cords. And we're not limiting the show just to love life, even though I'm sure that's 99.9% of what we're going to get as far as questions are concerned. These topics evolve out into our friendships, our soul groups, our families. So we're going to talk on all of this. Before we start getting into it, I want to give you guys instructions on where you can go to send your questions. Questions can be psychic, mediumship, meaning if you want to connect with loved ones on the other side, paranormal, lost objects, again, questions on your love life, or on this topic at hand, questions for us, whatever it is, and you can send them in to 716-602-1391 through text. I'll give that one more time, 716-602-1391, or you can go on Facebook to the Ask a Medium business page. If you go in the search engine and you type in Ask a Medium, the Para X radio show, Ask a Medium page will pop up. You can post them right there, and my dear producer will be taking those questions and sending them on over to us. A couple quick things that we have going on. Do you want to announce the April 16th fair?
Yay! Okay, we have a psychic fair coming up April 16th from 1 to 7 p.m. at the Seneca Host Fire Hall in West Seneca. It is the Ivy League Psychic Academy to benefit the Scleroderma Foundation. I think I said that right.
Yeah. Nailed it.
We're going to have mediums and healers and vendors and raffle baskets and food, and I'm really, really excited. I'm actually going to be reading in a gallery. Yay. I'm going to be doing private reads. I got my jewelry for sale.
You're going to be everywhere. Yeah,
I'm all over.
Tree has painted the house. The love of Tree is hanging everywhere. Basically, and there are a few people who will be offering readings as well as their artwork, recent graduates from the Academy. So, we're going to have a gallery and all kinds of great stuff there. A lot of healers, a lot of skincare, products, everything organic, but also all of your, typical spiritual goods, crystal stones, all of that, trying to support scleroderma awareness.
There's pendulums too.
Yeah.
Crystal pendulums and our crystal jewelry, and we're hoping to get a couple paranormal tables in there.
Yeah,
too.
I'm going to have some paranormal setups, and then possibly some lectures also on that from some local paranormal people. So I will also be doing a gallery show there in the evening. The students are doing their gallery show, or graduates actually, at 3 o'clock. And my daughter, Garcia Rivera Long, psychic medium, Garcia, will be making her debut. She is 12 years old. She's an amazing psychic medium, so we're super excited.
I'm really excited because I'm going to be reading along with her, and I believe your other daughter, Rainin, 16 years old. And I am just floored by these girls. I'm like, man, if I would have had, you as a mom growing up, I would have been, out, way before this.
I wish I had me as a mom. I fed this ability, and I didn't put them in awkward situations where they were forced to train by any means, but the minute they felt like they were ready to train and to learn the details, they were already doing it.
Yeah.
They were already going up to people and saying, gee, your grandmother's here, and she's mentioning the quilt that you still use on your bed. And, my 12-year-old went up to somebody yesterday and gave him a reading, and she said to him, I feel like your dog just had puppies, and it was right outside your room and to the left. And he was like, oh my God, it just happened 2 weeks ago. I said, Garcia, that is some specific
The girl is good.
12 years old. Look at her go. So, yeah, she'll be making her debut at that April 16th Ivy League Psychics Fair supporting scleroderma awareness. You can find more information up on the Ivy League PsychicAcademy.com website and on Facebook. We do have a couple event pages we'll be running. Yeah, excellent. Okay, so you guys check that out. All the mediums there I trained by hand at the Academy. Now, I know that we have some questions coming in, but I'm having a little volume issue, and I'm not sure why. Just want to make sure that I'm coming in clear before we start getting to our topic and our questions here. Okay, looks like I'm okay. We'll have Jay, the tech guy, running back here if there's a problem, right?
Yeah, he'll pop on those headphones.
Perfect.
And be like, he'll come running back.
So yeah, right now, the first thing that I want to bring up is the most common question that I get from clients, which is, why is it that if I broke up with my ex, that they are still lingering in my energy? Do you get this a lot?
From time to time. I don't think I get it nearly as much as you do.
Yeah, I think a lot of my client base is relationship stuff.
There's always a love question somewhere in there.
Well, this one is heavy because what people don't understand typically is that if you have a soulmate connection with someone or you've had multiple past lives together, it isn't that easy in this life just to break up with them and be like, yeah, I'm going to move on. I'm going to go on my way. They have so much of an energetic bond with you that you can feel from a distance when they're having a bad day, if they're going through something difficult, if they're sick, if they're about to be injured in any way, if things are going really good and they met someone new. Any of this will come through loud and clear.
Traumatic.
It is traumatic. You just want to move on with your life, and you have to know all their business, and you're thinking, what is wrong with me? Most of my clients start to worry that they have some kind of mental disorder, that they're going crazy, that they're obsessed, which is embarrassing. They don't want to feel, rejected.
Right.
And so they're like, okay, well, I'm feeling like I'm obsessed with this person. Why do I think of them all the time? What we need to understand is that, and this is what I'm, educating my clients on a lot, especially if it's your first soulmate connection. If you met in this life, your first soulmate, that's going to be the hardest one. If you're not meant to be together in this life and you have to break apart for a while or forever, it is not easy to get over that passionate connection. And what we need to also understand is that they can pull us in.
Absolutely. Yeah, they can definitely... It's like they hang over your head constantly. It's like their energy, like you were saying before, like their energy is constantly there. And they just kind of linger. And then you think of them. And then especially when they move forward and you haven't, you feel like you're stuck. Like you're stuck back and you can't move forward, and then you see them and they're out with somebody else.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
It is. It's traumatic. It's very traumatic.
Well, the nightmares that you may concoct at night, are worse than a lot of the reality you're ever going to bump into, but that's another thing.
Yeah, and then even some people go as far as oh my gosh, I really miss that person, and you call, and they've moved on.
Yeah.
So you're just and
you think and you wonder, and in your pathetic state of feeling like, well, I'm so pulled to them, there are also times when they're the ones who are actually pulling you in.
Yeah.
There's an opposite situation going on here too. So we don't want you guys to be too rough on yourselves and say, well, there must be something wrong with me. What is going on? Perhaps they're pulling you back into their energy. Now, it's sort of like the kind of connection that we have with our kids or with our parents, right? Your mother could just think of you and your father, who has passed away, Tree, right, can just come to you.
He just shows up.
And you automatically think that you're the one thinking of him.
Right.
Because that's how it works. I mean, that's the humans read it as though we thought of them, when in actuality, it's reversed.
Yeah.
They came to us most of the time.
And they will put little bits of a thought into your mind, it's funny, I'll sit there and I'll have a discussion with my husband, and all of a sudden a quote will pop in my head that my father would say, and you would only hear my dad say this quote, and then it comes out of my mouth, and then I'll go, thanks, Dad. You know what I mean?
Clairaudient ability. Him putting the thoughts in your head. Well, so we do this with each other. We do this romantically. We do this with our kids. We do this in general. But But when you have an ex who is sending that energy out to you, pulling you in, sucking you back in, this is where you guys really need to start taking, the responsibility off of yourselves a little bit more, blaming yourself, and stop saying, that you're going crazy or that you're obsessed with this person. That's not what it is. You have to understand energy manipulation, and that's where you need to start creating some boundary lines.
Well, especially too if they lived someplace together and then broke up and split apart, that person's energy is still in that environment, especially if you still have something that either they gave you or they left behind.
Throw it out.
Yeah, their energy's all over it. So, yeah, I mean, that could be the single tie right there. And as soon as you get rid of it,
right,
then it's like you almost feel free.
People seriously, they don't think enough about how objects hold energy. Shoes, purse. Every time I have a breakup, I get a new purse. Right? Some of my purses look pretty shabby. Some are looking awfully fresh. But every time
I'm married, that won't work for me. I just have to say, give me the purse.
You just have like bags, like just tons of purses in your closet. You're gonna just keep them forever. You guys are too cute. But yeah, like clothing. If you were on a date and you were like, we went here on our honeymoon, this is what I bought, you need to get rid of that stuff. Give it to Goodwill. Give it to someone, you need to release. So people don't understand the amount of energy that's held in an object, a material.
Even a letter.
Possession.
Even like an old love letter or even just a, hey, I was thinking of you letter, and you're going through and it's from like your boyfriend from 4th grade.
Yep. Your phone, your pictures, old text messages. Oh
gosh.
You got to clear all this stuff out, okay? So in clearing that out, you're opening yourself up in addition to positive, higher vibration energy to come into your world. Maybe you start attracting that right person. But until you can do this, you're not going to be opening up. Again, that lingers in your energy. Now, what someone will read automatically, okay, say you're a single girl, you left your ex behind, but he's all up in your energy. He's always pulling you back in. You have pictures of him everywhere. You're still wearing the same clothes you were wearing when you guys were together, whatever it is. All of a sudden, the right person starts to approach you, but the way that they read that energy is as unavailable. It's as though the light above your head is shut off, and you actually energetically read as disconnected or taken, and you're not. So we have to be careful.
Absolutely. I mean, and constantly talking about the ex and comparing people to the ex is another bad thing, because it's going to, as you said, pop the negativity out there in any perspective, boyfriends, girlfriends, partners, anything. It's going to push them back.
No doubt. And people are like, I don't talk about it that much or whatever. Okay, well, if you're thinking about it all the time, and if energetically you guys are so bonded that he's popping in your head all the time, you're not controlling those thoughts. You're not saying, I understand that there's nothing more than an energetic bond. I have to push it out. You replace it with something more positive. You replace it with an idea of who you want to attract to you. You make it a positive effect. If you're not actively doing that, you could very well find yourself stuck in that pattern. So no, you're not crazy. Energy manipulation is very real. Energetic bonds are very real, and you have to, at the base of it, understand soulmate connection and past life connection. If you had 6 other past lives together, it's not going to be that easy to just walk away from them in this life. I will say this: the more soulmates that you meet and the more people that you meet that you've had previous lives with together, the easier it gets to walk away if that's what you need to do. And you're just like, I'll throw it in the collection of whatever, A
lot of it, I think, is confidence in yourself. Yeah. Self-confidence, because if you're constantly like, I'll never find somebody new, I'll always be, all this stuff, that's a negative. Negative attracts negative. Positive attracts positive. We say this all the time. So it's like, you can't really move forward and find another person if you're still drawing that negative to yourself. So be confident in yourself, give yourself time to get over it, move forward, spend some time with yourself, get more reacquainted with yourself, and then move on.
And if you're finding that this keeps going on, you need to think of what we just said. Yep. Seriously. There could be this intense bond pulling you back. Yeah. And, you have to deal with it accordingly. We'll talk a little bit later in the show about cord cutting. If it's something you need to do, is cut that cord. A lot of people are like, well, I don't want to lose all kinds of, karmic connection or all kinds of connection. You may need to. So, try not to overjudge the situation. Again, if you guys want to text your questions in now to 716-602-1391, you could do that, or you can send them in. I know we have some coming in already over here on Facebook, on the business page called Ask a Medium, Para X Radio. And our dear producer over here will be passing those on to us. I know I have some coming in through text that I want to get to. I have from a 585 number. Are you ready, Tree?
I am. Let's do
Let's
this.
handle the love life. Hello, I've been having certain trust issues with a guy I've been seeing for about 3 months. It's just really confusing lately, and I was wondering what it is that I need to do to move forward. Okay, well, I'm getting two different things. You want to go first? You want me to? Now, if you're looking, okay, back here at your past, I do sense a little bit of something going on that seems to keep resurrecting itself. I think that you're asking too many questions. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Stop asking, okay? You don't need to wonder on something. Wondering actually promotes the negative that Tree just said. You could just sit back and be like, it'll reveal itself. For right now, I'm just going to be trusting, and I'm just going to leave it at that. So I feel like that's a habit that you've gotten into, especially in the last 6 years. Something happened 7 years ago, and it feels like 6 years of doing this in total, but it was for protective purposes. Now, as I'm looking over here at his side, what I feel like is he's a little aloof about things, and he still has some residual energy where it's like he has a lingering relationship in his energy, and it feels like with that, of course you would have questions. So one is triggering the next.
I should have went first because I'm gonna repeat everything you just said. No, but I seriously got something like there's definitely something with her to where she has to constantly wonder and constantly think, and it feels like there's a bit of a past life connection here as well with this type of situation. Like I was getting in a past life, like the husband or boyfriend, well, I'll say husband, wasn't home a lot. It was a lot of travel, a lot of things going on, and then it made you wonder. It was like a constant wonder, like, is he okay? Is he? And the communication, because it was way, way back, like I'm feeling like almost like he went off to war kind of a thing, like way back 1800s, maybe further, and there's no communication. So you never know, is the person okay? What's going on out there? You know, and so forth. And I think it's a constant thing, and that negative just continues to weigh to where you think the opposite of what should be going on in your mind.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. I mean, and, you know, when we look at, okay, we had a past life together, and that was the theme. In this life, if you guys didn't get it right in that past life, you relive it.
You're reliving it.
So it's the same exact situation, essentially just recreated with a new twist, and the lesson is still the same that needs to be learned.
I definitely feel like it's more on her, though. Like, he feels like he's pretty clear over here, and it feels like it's more on her, kind of like things just kind of keep replaying in her own mind. You know, curiosity kind of a thing just kind of keeps going. Because
while this isn't his energy, it does feel that he's not really interested in it.
Yeah,
like whatever this residual stuff is, it feels like, okay, that's not really where I'm putting my heart. I guess I would say that's not where I'm investing my heart.
And a lot of times in relationships, too, depending on what's going on, if the person's a workaholic, if they have a lot going on, you know, continuous things that they have to do, they are committed to their work relationship versus a love relationship.
Uh-oh, there's my downfall.
Ding, ding.
Forever single. Where's my work desk? Me, I love my work desk. Okay, so let's move on to an 862 number. Hi, Ivy and Tree. My name is Yvette, and I'd like to know, when will I meet that amazing guy for me? Okay, let's see what we're getting for her. I feel like you're seeing him too. You see this same guy over here? Yep, dark hair.
I'm going like this. Yeah,
a little bit of meat on the bones.
A little stocky.
A little bit. Super cute. Dark hair. Yes. I don't know. What are we out? I feel like 3 months potential, but 6 to 7 months. 6 to 7.
I was hitting 6 to 8 because I felt like it's a little closer.
Because it's coming, but that's not going to happen right then. So let's just say 6 to 8 is the official meeting. He'll be around in your energy at about the 3-month marker, out somehow, like sort of basically being introduced.
He's going to be constantly be around though.
He's like a little bumblebee. Yeah, he's like a little bumblebee. Like, I want to be around. He's putting himself around.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I'm feeling like he's going to be around, and then more even so, and then it's just the connection's just going to happen. So, yep.
Okay.
And she feels really ready.
Yes.
Like, really, really ready for this. Awesome.
Yeah. No, it feels good. Yeah, basically, it looks like he's around, but he doesn't necessarily know why. He's very innocent in this. Like, he's just drawn. He's good. Right now,
He feels a little preoccupied. Like he's
going to be stupefied by everything.
Yes.
He's like, oh my God, she's amazing. And then he's like, oh my God, I can't believe we met. And then he's like, oh my God. But he doesn't even realize that he's actually doing it and putting it together. Right. It's like Spirit's working through him to put it together. What are you getting with like work, career, anything with him on that? Well, I look for this next question here.
The first initial thought that popped in my head was just like, oh, you work here? You know what I mean? Like, he's just buzzing around. It's like a place where it's like a common ground for these two. It's like a common place. And that it's like, he doesn't realize.
No, he doesn't realize any of this.
Yeah. You work here? Or, you go there? That's what I'm getting with him.
Mm. Okay, super cute. And yeah, I feel like you guys really too, on the friendship note, okay? Feels like you're falling together on the friendship note. Feels like, let's go to a movie. I'm literally hearing him saying, let's go to a movie and let's maybe go like get a couple drinks after. I feel like he doesn't want the night to end. And I feel like you're a little bit puzzling. You're like puzzled by him. You're not sure. So I want to say give it time. Slow start, not for him, but a little slower for you. Okay, and then it feels like a couple weeks in, he may actually start to back off a little bit and get a little nervous by what he's feeling. It kind of hits home, and then, you're kind of more ready to move forward. So you guys are doing a little cat and mouse, a little back and forth, okay? Ride the waves. Give it about 3 to 4 months to settle, and then you guys will know what direction you're going in. There's a lot of sun energy around him, too. A lot of mention of, a son or a dominant child type energy around him. He feels like a good person, good parent. So, yeah, absolutely. It's coming in, and I feel like enjoy the ride. Okay, I have... From Aleola, will my current relationship get better or should I move on? This is, okay, let me see. Okay, from Aleola Richardson. Okay, Leola, let's see what we're getting with this. I feel like this is someone, who is very oppressive. To you. And with that oppression, there's nothing positive coming from it because we're not looking at I almost want to say there should be more from this partner's perspective of the family as a whole. What would be best for the family? And also what is best for you, okay, is also what's best for the family. So it seems to me that you have been taken out of the equation a long, long time ago. And I feel like it's been many, many nights living in the forest, sleeping in the forest, not able to see through the trees about what direction will the light ever sort of shine in this forest. I feel like you can't see the way out. You're going to have to make your own way out. It isn't going to be easy. I also feel like a lot of dominant personality with this person. It feels kind of manipulative. It feels dark and heavy. And I don't feel like they would make it easy for you to just amicably be like, you know what, my journey has led me somewhere else. So I feel like you have a bit of a battle on your hands. And yes. So yeah, it just looks like sorry, I like talk a lot. I have no filter whatsoever, so I'm like all over the place. I'm answering the producer. I'm thinking that I'm talking to your relationship guide at the same time. So I'm a mess. It's essentially like if you don't do this, you will be getting sick. Okay? So I can't prescribe a diagnosis, but I am saying you will be feeling sick. I feel like mentally, physically, emotionally sick, and I feel like he is literally sucking the life out of you. You feel exhausted to me, and I also feel like you're losing your pleasant demeanor, almost like your like aggression level rising. What are you getting with that?
Yeah, he feels like he's entirely too preoccupied with whatever he's got going on over here. And there's way too much to where she's there, and he depends on her being there to an extent, but it's not for what she needs. It feels very separated. Yep. Like, very, very separated. So it does feel like, even though this has been a long investment, like, this feels like a really long, long relationship. Mm-hmm. But I kind of feel like, we were saying before, cutting the cord, I kind of feel like it's time for her to move this way. Because if you don't, you're getting pulled away from the person who you are and who you want to be. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that is definitely pulling away from you. And then that'll put you in a completely different mindset because it's like you'll become very withdrawn.
Absolutely. I feel like love yourself, be in a romantic partnership with yourself for a while, get out of this. This was done 6 years ago. I feel like you knew you were supposed to move forward.
And it's hard because there's such an investment there. There's such a long...
But you always have to look at an investment like, who invested?
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
It's like... when it's no longer even.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're like, well, they didn't invest... what were they investing in? You're investing in them. They're investing in them.
Yeah.
Everything is investing in them.
No. Where's you?
Where's you?
Where's the time for you?
Find you?
So, you need to find the time for you.
All right. Thank you, Miss Richardson, for that question.
Sorry.
Excellent.
Please feel bad.
I know. I do feel kind of bad, but at the same time, it's like, a lot of people know already. We're confirming.
It feels like it's so much brighter on the other side, too.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Light years. I mean, it's fun.
Yeah.
Like, how about fun? How about having fun? Again, that would be awesome. So we have a million more coming in here through text, and I know we have some coming in here. David, what do you have, dear producer?
Yeah. So this one's a little bit lighter of a question to give you guys a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
So this is from Facebook, from Michaela. And she said, I haven't found the key and remote to my blue Chevy Impala. Will I ever find them, or are they gone forever?
Okay. I was feeling like at first it was under. I feel like it was under something. I'm almost looking at like under a car seat or under a seat. It felt like metal. Yeah, like something I could cut my hand on.
You're better at remote viewing than I am, so.
I'm remote viewing a remote control. This is like.
Well, it felt like it felt like it fell off and it was kicked under something.
Yes, and then it feels to me like it may have fallen out. So I'm not so sure that it's there anymore because I have you looking and it isn't there. And so I'm thinking that, it's somehow like exited. It also looks to me at some point it was also lost before that point, and it was under what felt to me more like clothing. And there was like a bed, like the leg of a bed. Yeah, something going on in the bedroom. Are you going to find it? I'm not so sure. I want to say that you could have a little bit of cat and mouse going on here where it feels like it may have been hidden. At some point, I feel like there was a female spirit watching over you who would have been hiding your things. So I'm not going to completely rule it out because once they get involved, it's possible that it could show back up. But I was kind of feeling like it may have fallen out of the car.
I keep getting pulled back to this whole dresser clothing around kind of a thing. So I think I'm more where it used to be. I think I'm stuck, but I definitely felt like it is definitely under something, but it does feel like it has moved as well. So
now, did you see the room like this? If this were the back wall, this was the bed, this was the dresser, this is where it was, and this is where the clothes were.
I'm literally seeing like the bottom of a dresser and clothing around it. And here's a bed here. Like I'm I'm on the floor eye level.
Okay, and your room. Okay, so go back and look at your room where we're talking about.
Or nightstand, dresser and nightstand. It's just
around the legs of that.
Yes.
Yeah, because we're both seeing the same thing. So at some point, it was there. You could certainly check. Beyond that, I'm not so sure it's going to return unless I feel like the spirit lady brings it back to you. Okay, thank you for that question. We have another one?
Sure. This is from Para-X from user The Mom. And she wants to know, what do you see in the future for me with work?
I all of a sudden saw money falling down, but it's falling from above me, which is going to mean that it's not here yet. Okay, it feels to me like it could be coming within the next 2 months. I feel like there's some talk of it within the next 2 months, but it could very well be postponed to the 8th month out. And around that time, it seems like it's coming. You do have to grab it, but while it's within your free will domain to grab, it is destiny charted that it would come. Mm-hmm. And so the prosperity is certainly there, but it almost looks like here it comes, and then there's quiet, and then it comes back. So I feel like keep an eye out.
Yeah, I'm also feeling like there's a possible transition period. I was getting the motion where a hopping motion, so it shows like a jumping over, maybe like a different, like a rise in position or so forth, or something that would actually bring that money in, because as you're seeing it down, I'm seeing like it's coming like a hopping over. Mm-hmm. But it's all in the free will domain. Like this is something like opportunities there, and it's totally your call on grabbing that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and I definitely feel like you should. I feel like don't stay still. I feel like staying still equals out to, not a whole heck of a lot. So it would almost be like one promotion, one move, and then wait, and here comes another. So there would be a silence and then another. Looks good.
Yeah, I was getting to, like, if this one is, like, optional and then there's the other one there. That we're both optional, but if you take this one's void.
Right.
So I'm kind of seeing, like, a hopping.
Yep.
So, your call.
Yeah, but it looks good. I mean, it's certainly there for you to take, and definitely within the next year, which is good. Some people don't have promotions coming in at all, and you definitely do. So good luck with that. Keep going, okay? Make the move. I'm going to take one here from a 508. Will my boyfriend and I stay together forever? Let's see what's going on with this. Okay. I feel like he has some things that he needs to say. And I'm feeling like with you, I'm going to put it this way. Feels like confusion in the head, confusion in the brain a little bit sometimes, where I almost feel like you are an empath. I feel like you absorb his energy. Google that word. I feel like you absorb his energy. You absorb other people's energy. You could get a little high strung, maybe even a little anxious. And I think that you need to learn a little bit more about how to keep other people's energy outside of you and how to not overmesh with other people. So if you can learn that lesson, I would steer you toward the Empathic Means lecture that we have coming up next month. Again, IvyLeaguePsychicAcademy.com has that information. But the more you can learn about controlling your empathic ability, the more it leaves an opening for you guys to be in harmony. With him, I feel like he needs to speak up. I feel like he's suppressing his emotions.
He's really quiet. Like, really, really quiet. But he also feels like the type to where if you hound him too much and you push and you push and you push, he's gonna like blow, or he'll run out the door or wherever he's, I like see him bolting, like literally. But he's definitely that type.
Feel him, don't ask him. But it feels like he does actually need to communicate some of this out, because bolting is not an option anymore.
Yeah, it's bottled too much. Like, there's a lot invested here on both ends. Like, it feels like a really good, like, I'm getting like that, the hands coming together, like the fists, and that's not headbutting for me. That's like a solid bond. Like, boom, it's there. It's at even level, and it feels like it's good, but it does feel like little things need to be kind of tweaked in whichever direction for things not to explode and not to get pushed too far.
Absolutely.
Argumentatively.
Yeah. So don't ask him all the time, what's going on? I can feel it. He needs a little space. Yeah. You need more space. And then possibly that will encourage him to speak up a little bit more. But yeah, good things. What do you have coming in?
So we have another one from Para X. This is from user Ramona, and she said, I have an ex in another state that we can't seem to let go of, each other even though we're both with other people. Will we get back together in this life? Can you tell how many lives we've had together?
I had the same identical question here from Aaliyah. That's bizarre. Okay, well, so the question is that he's out of state, and she can't seem to let go of him. And I sort of got distracted with the rest of that. She's with somebody else?
So they're both with other people.
Got it. Okay.
They can't seem to let go both
of each other.
Yeah.
Okay. I just got slapped on the hand by a grandmother, so I feel like you have to. Meaning, I want to put it this way. Don't get into an unethical situation where you're having a romantic entanglement, and just because it isn't physical, you're saying that you're not having a romantic entanglement, okay? I don't feel like the effort is really there on either one, because I also had a grandmother coming through from his side slapping my hand. So what that means, and they're slapping my left hand, okay, which means receiving. Your left hand is the receiving side, which means you guys are openly, deliberately receiving one another. I think that this can be modified slightly with some techniques, blocking techniques, avoidance. While it's not the healthiest thing in the world to do, I feel like if you're going to give these new relationships a shot, you're going to need to to do that. And what are you getting with this? Because there's more coming in now.
Yeah, I got, when the question first was asked about past lives, I got the number 5. And it was showing me that it wasn't necessarily romantically involved. Like, they were acquaintances and that they knew each other and this and that. And what it's kind of feeling like because of that, it's being kind of, like, preceded as they're supposed to be together when they're really not. It's just, there's too much going on elsewhere. It's like you came together, the other one was preoccupied with whatever else was going on. It didn't come full circle. You separated for whatever reasons, and it kind of feels like friendship, yes. Other than that, no. That's what I'm getting.
I'm also feeling like there was a mother-son bond at some point, and I feel like, possibly you, the female, you were the son, okay, in that previous life. So I feel like almost looking up to mom, like looking up to him, okay, in this life, and it's almost like almost like a caretaker. I feel like he's going to take care of me. I feel like he wants to take care of me. He may have very protective instincts over you, and this and that. That is a tremendous bond that isn't easily shaken. If you two are going to explore what's there, I feel like you need to be honest about it, and you need to move forward and cut these other people out before this gets painful. But otherwise, it's like either be with the people that you're with or go and explore this, but do not keep dancing.
Don't keep other people going.
Yeah, because
you are. It feels like she goes to him too.
Oh, it feels like it feels like they do. Yeah. And
like,
once
whether
one
it's
person
for whatever, even a relationship, and whatever,
stirring, stirring. Okay, so be careful. You're kind of playing with fire there. So watch yourselves karmically. Okay, that you're being honest with the people that you're with. If you want to go explore it, get on the same page. Explore it already. But I don't feel like either one of you are necessarily ready to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. You have another one?
Yep. Another one from Para X. This is from user Catwoman. And she said, how do you know if that connection is meant to be resurrected or if you should push it away?
That connection. Okay. How do you know if that connection is meant to be resurrected or to push it away? Okay. I look at it this way. I can feel, okay, so it's really about looking within yourself. If you can just sort of close your eyes, picture that person coming closer and closer and closer into your energy. And when they get there, if you can write down all of the feelings and emotions that you're having in relation to them. If it feels as though there's discord, if it has a little bit of a sense of like just not now or it's just not right, what that can mean is that down the road it could be right, but it isn't right for now. If there seems to be a lot of connection and energetic bond, but you feel like something about it makes you sick or it doesn't make sense, or you find yourself gravitating toward what else, typically over to the right side of the body, that means you need to move on to something else. And I feel like don't feed it, no matter how tight the bond. And then, of course, if you feel a tremendous bond, but then you feel like this is just straight up toxic, or you even get the chills, you get cold, your body temperature drops, run.
Yeah.
Get the cord-cutting scissors out.
And, I think what's best, too, is to be mindful of the surroundings around everything as to what's going on. Like, how do things change when this person is around or thought of or whatever the case is.
Good point.
Because, like, if things start to get negative and things are falling apart, what does that kind of tell you?
Right.
Yeah.
You can even just as simply as like when this person reaches out or when you go to reach out to them, if things start to fall apart in your own life, just a couple warnings. Spirit's a gentleman for a minute. Then
for a second.
Get a little karmic kick in the hiney, and then you start taking a beat down. So pay attention. Yeah.
But there's a difference between that and like people purposely trying to make you miserable.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because like I'd have to say, with my own relationship with my husband, there was just so much drama in certain areas to where if I would have given up with all that,
right,
we wouldn't be together.
I have so many clients, too, who say, I think I met my soulmate, or Ivy, you predicted my soulmate coming in, 2-3 years ago, whatever. He's here. It happened. Why is everyone so negative about this? Everyone's mourning me because they're miserable. Or...
don't want you to be happy.
Because they're being used by negative and lower energies.
Right.
And what do they say, right? New level, new devil? And it is biblical. It is biblical. It is no different in the paranormal world, the psychic world, whatever. It is biblical that if you're about to move up to something greater, that there are negative and lower energies that will step in to take it away. So you have to be mindful. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, so pay attention to what's going on as to where and gauge from there, you know?
Yep, but ultimately, you got to look in. You got to, focus on this person, close your eyes. How do they resonate with you in an honest way? Journal it. Okay, next time they reach out to you, journal it. Okay, let's move on. You have more coming from here? Okay,
this is from Stacy. And she said, I guess I know why my boyfriend and I broke up, but why did we meet and stay together for so long?
Okay, so they're broken up now, and then, that's how that feels, right? They're not together now, but they were. Okay, that's how that feels. Lessons.
Yeah, thank you. I was just about to say, it felt like at the time, they needed to come together to fulfill a purpose.
Yep.
And, each other needed each other or something from each other at the time. And you get so comfortable with the person that you don't move forward, even if that purpose is fulfilled, and you just stay there.
I feel like he had to learn how to do this in a relationship. I feel like he had to learn how to, give, be aware of someone else, pay attention. I feel like you taught him all that. You, in a lot of ways, were sort of the leader in the relationship, and you steered him in that direction, and you learned a lot about how maybe you don't want to always be at the head. Maybe sometimes you would like to be carried, and you would like to have, maybe a more dominant character that you're pairing up with. And, you both learned a ton of lessons. It was almost as though if you were to have started a business together, you were like, now I know how to run my business. I know how I want my employees to be. I know how I want to run the books. All of this, and then it was like, okay, we've taken the business as far as it can go, and it's sort of on from there. It feels like probably about 3 years of it or so sort of dragged. It really could have been wrapped up a lot sooner than it was, but
that last year feels harsh.
Yeah, that was hard. That was falling apart.
Yeah.
So, beautiful things, and the best thing that we can do when we look back, and I feel like you've already really, done this. I'm not sure that he's done it quite as much, but, you want to look back at your relationships, good, bad, ugly, indifferent, whatever, and you want to say, this is what I learned from it, and that's how you show it gratitude. You give it respect, and you use it for something positive and attract more positive energy to you. So, still something to celebrate. I want to move on to a 248 number, and then we'll get a little bit more on our topic here. Hey, my name is Leah. I know I found my soulmate, but how many past lives have we had, and is it right? Okay, that's a great question. You wouldn't expect to hear these questions posed together.
I'm liking them, though.
Right? And the way we're trained is if you met your soulmate, that's all there is. Of course it's right. No. In this situation, though, I am feeling a ton of potential. I'm feeling like there's a 3-year period, though, where you guys are really figuring out what to do with it. So it's not so simple as we're together, we're going to get on the horse, we're going to ride off into the sunset. It's a little bit more like, yes, there are. I'm actually feeling like 7, 8, possibly 9 past lives together. I feel as though what he's doing right now, though, is sorting through some stuff. And I feel like if that's rushed, that could be a little bit of a bomb that could go off. So he may have repeatedly a sense of I am here, I am invested, I am not here, I am not invested, I am here, I am invested, I have to go into my own head and I have to disappear for a few weeks, I am here. I feel almost like he's a Gemini type. Let him come back. Geminis are always going to go off. They're like stray cats. Where'd they go? They come back to eat. He'll come back. But let him go do his thing. You getting this with him?
Yeah, but I'm also getting that he's extremely supportive. He's
I was going to say a Leo.
Loving.
He reminds me of
he's very loving and supportive. But he also feels like he gives her what she needs, and then he takes what he needs, and it just kind of feels like there's a really good equal balance in here. It feels solid. I mean, in the relationships, past relationships, I'm getting marriage. There was a lot of married. Oh my God, I can't talk. Anyway, you were married quite a bit. And let's rephrase.
You're very meritable.
In the past lives, like at least 4 of them or so.
Yeah.
And, so it's there, like quite a bit.
And I feel like he built. I'm looking at a past life where he like built their house, but it was like brick. It was like almost like a castle looking, like it was kind of elaborate. Really, he feels really skilled in laying down the foundation for things.
He bottles though. He kind of keeps it in so he doesn't.
I think that's why he leaves a lot, like
probably
energetically,
just so he can go and scream in the garage and go
back.
One of those types of things. Yeah,
but I don't know that there's a ton that you guys really need to work out, other than just sort of patience. Patience with each other. I feel like understand how the other person operates, and I feel like try not to, get that overwhelming sense of like I have to manipulate it into what I think it should be. I feel like you can learn each other, and you can just sort of roll with it, and it'll just evolve on its own. So yeah, it does feel like there's a ton of potential. I still feel like 3 years out before you know exactly where it's going. But yeah, looks like we could be on the road to marriage or long term.
Feels good though.
This one's a ding. Yeah.
Ding ding ding.
Definitely. On this note, when we're talking about relationships that are no longer working necessarily, okay, and we're not with the person anymore, people are like, cord cutting. What's that? Cord cutting.
Explain this.
Yeah, the idea of understanding that you may have, and people are like, somebody came to me recently, and it's not like I'm an expert on any of this, or like I even pretend to know, exactly. I mean, all of this is an invisible world. Mm-hmm. But someone came to me recently, and it did feel funny to hear. She said, I think somebody stuck a cord on me. I think this ex has got me corded. And I was like, I don't think that's how it works. I just don't. I do believe, though, if you have past life history together, that bond can be like a cord, an energetic, right? So, one of the biggest problems that people see in breakups wanting to separate from someone else is that when they go to bed at night, okay, and they're vulnerable and the veil is lifted, that they have that person there in their dreams, or they're in, sharing time together, astral traveling together, whatever it is. You could you don't feel bad about it, but before you go to bed at night, maybe just take that person's name and say, I am cutting, and you visualize this cord, and you just gently cut it, and you just say, I am releasing this person from my energy, and that will help tremendously. You could also do it in a bigger way. Okay, so you can modify that and basically, take a moment to almost do like a meditational state and just say, this is what I want to release. I want them to stop coming into my thoughts. I want them to stop being able to pull me back into their energy. It's always best to say more affirmations than negatives. So instead of talking disconnect, you're saying, I want more of my freedom. I want more of my space. I will be able to more easily disconnect my thoughts from this person, this and that. And then you gently cut the cord. And you can do that repeatedly. Some people have a hard time. So feel free to go back to it. Also, what about, family relationships? Weird familial bonds where you have past life connection to other family members, and you have to realize that sometimes, some of the disconnect or the feelings of tension that you're having between your even your mother or your children, these could have been your spouses in a previous life.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I kind of feel like too, like a lot of people, like when there's a lot of, like we talked before about toxic relationships, and when there's a lot of toxic things going on and everything else, like a lot of people won't separate because they don't want to hurt feelings. They don't want to, like have anything come back on them really, or anything else. But you have to kind of think of, though, how is that person's energy affecting you? Mm-hmm. Even if you really care about the person, how's that energy really affecting you? Mm-hmm. And you have to kind of really weigh that out and just kind of look at yourself as in, who's more important, yourself or what's going on?
Absolutely.
Or, and you have to kind of separate yourself.
Yeah, I agree. I think family, that's
the toughest one, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody, including your family, your bloodline, needs to be looked at in a more, objective way, where you're just saying, what were the bonds? What is the energy here? I totally agree with that. And there's no problem with disconnecting from anyone. There's no karmic punishment. I mean, regardless of what, the church or the way we've been raised has said, there is no punishment for this. it's what's healthy, and that is often where the biggest tests come from. A lot of energy workers are born into very difficult families and situations, and even pair up with someone whose family will be volatile against, the spouse coming in, and lots of tests.
Yeah, I was just going to say that actually there's a lot of tests, a lot of things that come up to test the strength of your bond in your own, personal self, your own strength and your own weaknesses and everything else. And it's like, if you're in a good relationship and you guys are married or getting married, and all this crazy stuff keeps happening and it's negative, it's like, those are kind of, you can look at those as tests to test the strength of the bond.
Right.
As well.
Absolutely.
Are we good?
No, we're good. I'm going to have to confess a gross, a little bit of a gross situation, but he doesn't tune in anyways, so I'm in the clear. But here's one of the most common ones that I see. Okay. Is that a lot of my clients have married what was previously their parent. I myself did it when I was much younger. Will not be making that mistake again. There was a situation where I had, I got married, and I went, to a wonderful class that was held in Lilydale a long time ago, that I believe they still have. Sandra Ann Taylor, I want to say, I believe, held it, where she helps you to look into past lives. And I was like, oh, this should be interesting. I looked into my past life, had never really witnessed this before, and there was my husband as my father.
Oy.
Yeah, in a previous life. And the same identical issues that we were having in this life, I watched play out when he was my father in that previous life. I have since then seen countless clients come in who are literally married to their mom. They're married to their dad.
Yeah.
They're married to but that bond, that bond, when they first met, they were like, yes, but I was so comfortable with this person. I immediately felt like I knew this person for a million years.
Yeah.
I immediately felt like they understood me so well, and they were protective, or we got each other and we worked together great as a team. Yeah. But, this can also, if those, issues that you had together weren't worked out in the previous life, they will start to surface. So just be mindful. And I also want to put this spin on it. If you are in harmony, with the person, you don't have a bunch of karmic lessons to learn necessarily. You can be reincarnated again with your child, with your previous spouse, with your mother, with whatever it is. And there will be harmony there. But typically we do see some romantic connection in previous lives. That tends to be a theme, that there was some bonding there in order for this to really feel comfortable. And so it's really just fascinating. I mean, try to see everything, including, your work, associates. And we were talking a little bit about soul groups. Yeah. Soul groups, the people that we are born with again and again and again, that we have work to do with. And it's been amazing. You came into the academy, and do you not feel like you started to meet members of your soul group you already had, though, before that?
It's kind of crazy, because during level 1, I felt like a specific connection to specific people. And I still feel that connection. And then when I moved on to level 2, this is, psychic mediumship development. When I moved on to level 2, I would literally look around the room and be like, this is where I'm supposed to be. These are the exact same people that I'm supposed to be with. I call them my soul sisters.
Yeah.
And it just feels like, regardless of what we have going on or whatever the case is, we're going to come back to each other.
Yeah.
And we're always going to be there helping each other and encouraging each other. I have never felt like such encouragement.
Yes.
From somebody just sitting next to me.
Yes.
In all of my, seriously,
I know.
No disrespect towards my husband. I love him dearly and he encourages me, but I'm saying, in this group, you know what I mean?
And I look forward to seeing you guys. I look forward to, more than the new boyfriend, I want to see him. I look forward to seeing Trey. I look forward to hot mama. I look forward, to being around the people of my, in my soul group, because what a soulmate bond really is doing work together
yeah.
And having good partnership. So it's fun. Okay, now we have a couple more questions coming in, and then we're going to kind of wrap up the show. What do you have, David?
So this one is from Para X. This is from Key Mag's Proof Paranormal. Okay. And they said, would it be in the best interest for my wife and I to continue living where we are, or should we move to a new town?
The first thing I'm hearing is space. So I feel as though there are a couple different options here. It almost looks to me that you could go in, and I almost feel like her retreating a bit. It's almost like she wants to spend some time sort of away from some of the people or the places in the town. I feel like some retreat may help for a while, and then she could come back out kind of renewed. But I feel like you're very actually eager to move away. Well, you may have some fears. You may feel like, yeah, but I'm not sure that my roots are up here. I feel like energetically you're more ready to go. And I do feel a lot of positivity with that and long-term prosperity.
Absolutely. I agree completely. The first thing I heard was go. It was move. So I definitely feel like it feels like there's too much, what do you want to say, hustle and bustle going on over in here to where it feels like they're ready. And what I tell a lot of people too is when you feel like you have outgrown your own space to where it doesn't feel like home anymore, that's your sign to go.
And even if she renews it, it's going to come back again. You may as well just kind of go. Yeah. Next one. Last one.
This is also from ParaX, from user Cuddleboo.
Cuddleboo, we're ready for you.
They said, my sister has been stuck in a terrible negative energy for a long time, with many bad things happening to her.
Oh, wow.
She says she's ready to turn things around, and I know I will be a big part of helping her do that. Does she need tough love from me, or what?
Sarah.
Go.
No, I was going to say, like, tough love from her, but, I mean, it feels like she needs to bring the love to herself. It feels like it's missing. And it kind of feels like she needs to spend some time and really look at everything around her, and including what she wants and where she wants to go. Like, it feels like she needs to be pulled out. It's like she's stuck somewhere. Like, she needs to be pulled out of it. So having that support around her and everything is really detrimental to what is going on.
I'm feeling like she needs to get in touch with her guides. I feel like she needs to start looking for signs and symbols from the universe that she's going in the right direction. That she's making healthy choices, that there are going to be blessings for her taking steps out in blind faith and all of that. And so I feel almost like I'm watching you as the sister putting books on her path. They don't have to literally be books. Books are a symbol for education. So whether you encourage her to get into classes on spiritual development, you can come in, if you can come in here with her, even Skype in if you need to do that. But I would do like meet your guides class. I would do coffee with your angels. I would do some brief classes that can at least start to open her up to what else is there, because she seems to not, while she absorbs a lot of energy, she seems to not be very clear on the communications that are going on out there that are giving her direction. I do feel, though, some tough love from you, yes, where you need to at least say, I'm going to put this out there, but you have to get up and stand on your own 2 feet, too. Like, oh, look, I registered us. Make sure you show up, that kind of thing. Can
I say real quick, too, because this just popped in my head for everybody who's looking for something as far as, like, a crystal or stone goes? Rose quartz is the universal love stone. It's unconditional. It helps you bring love to you, to love yourself, to love others. And it's just this very good healing, all about heart chakra type of stone. Like, absolutely love this stone.
Yes.
So I think it will really help in this topic with a lot of people, especially the last question here with the girl.
Yep.
And I feel like she kind of needs that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Like, I'm even just seeing like a rose course rose. Just even on a necklace, just wear it. Absolutely, and we'll post on that as well. Okay, guys, we are going to wrap up the show. Listen, if we did not get to your questions, we will be taking them on the live Ask a Medium show on Ustream TV following this show at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, so you guys can log in, okay, to Ustream. We also will be uploading those onto YouTube, as will this show be archived. Okay, so if you want a full reading, feel free to reach out to me at Ivy Rivera, psychicmedium.com, or find me on Facebook at Ivy Rivera, and they can get you where?
Theresa Matuszak Psychic Medium on Facebook.
Okay, and we will see you next week for the Ask a Medium radio show here on ParaX, coming to you from the Ivy League Psychic Academy, where we are raising up the next generation of light workers.
Good night.
Blessings.